They told us these creatures were just myths. They were wrong. Across history, people have described monsters so strange, so impossible, they had to be fantasy. But what if I told you some of them actually existed? From a child-snatching river demon in Japan, to an unearthly sound from the deepest ocean that no scientist can explain, and a towering figure in the woods that might still be out there, watching us. This is Mythical Creatures That Really Existed. And before we're done, you'll question which of them ever truly died out. Some myths were born from fear, and some from survival. In Japan, they called it the kappa, a creature said to lurk in rivers and ponds waiting for its next victim. It looked almost like a turtle, with a hard shell-like back, green scaly skin, webbed hands and feet, and a strange hollow bowl on its head, always filled with water. And that water wasn't for drinking. It was its life force. Spill it and the kappa would weaken, maybe even die. But most people never got the chance, because the kappa was fast. It could surge from the depths in seconds, grip your ankle with cold, slimy fingers, and pull you under before you could scream. And drowning wasn't the worst fate. Legends say it craved the shirokodama, a mythical ball said to hold a person's soul hidden deep inside the body. The kappa would do anything to take it from you. Yet, it wasn't always the villain. Some stories tell of farmers who befriended the kappa, trading cucumbers for its help in the fields. Others speak of it teaching humans medical secrets before vanishing back into the water. So, was the kappa just a warning to keep children away from dangerous waters, or a distorted memory of something real? Because halfway across the world, in a place far more dangerous than any river, scientists once heard a sound so loud, so strange, they had no choice but to give it a name. They called it the bloop. In 1997, a sound unlike anything ever recorded echoed through the Pacific Ocean. It was so loud, hydrophones thousands of kilometers apart picked it up. It didn't sound like a whale, or a submarine, or anything man-made. Scientists called it the bloop, and for decades they had no idea what caused it. At first, some believed it was an enormous sea creature, one far larger than any whale alive today. The pitch, the rise and fall of the sound, it was almost organic, almost alive. But here's the problem. For a creature to make a noise that loud, it would have to be bigger than anything that has ever swum in our oceans. Bigger than a blue whale, bigger than anything we know has ever existed. Officially, years later, the sound was attributed to shifting icebergs deep underwater, but not everyone was convinced. The ocean is vast and unexplored. We've mapped the surface of Mars better than the floor of our own seas. And in the same way, stories from land hide secrets too, because in ancient texts and tapestries, one creature appeared again and again, a creature so beautiful and so impossible that even today, people will hope it was real. The unicorn. They were the most magical of all creatures, a symbol of purity, beauty, and power. But what if the unicorn wasn't a fantasy at all? For centuries, explorers, kings, even scientists claimed to have seen them. Always the same, a white, horse-like body, a flowing mane, and a single spiraled horn at the center of its head. In medieval Europe, owning a unicorn horn could make you rich. They were said to cure poison, heal sickness, even grant immortality. Of course, there was one problem. Every single unicorn horn ever found came from a narwhal, a whale from the Arctic. Sailors brought them back, and people believed the myth even more. But here's the part most people don't know. Long before medieval Europe, in the frozen grasslands of Siberia, lived a real animal that matched the unicorn's legend almost perfectly. It was called the Elasmotherium, a massive prehistoric rhinoceros with a single horn that may have been over 2 meters long. It stood taller than a man and could shatter bone with a single charge. This could have been the unicorn. And if such a fantastical creature could be rooted in truth, what about beings said to live deep under the mountains, forging weapons, hoarding treasure, and vanishing into the dark. The dwarfs. Deep beneath the mountains, where no sunlight can reach, they say entire kingdoms were built. Kingdoms ruled by dwarves. Not the cheerful miners from children's stories, but fierce, secretive beings, master craftsmen of metal and stone. According to Norse legends, they forged weapons for the gods themselves. Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, gleaming swords that never dulled, jewels that could curse or bless their owners. But who were they really? Could they have been based on an actual people, living far from the eyes of outsiders? Some historians think so. In remote parts of Scandinavia and Central Europe, there were small-statured tribes who lived close to the earth, mining and crafting tools. To strangers, their underground homes and their skill with metal must have seemed almost supernatural. Others believed dwarves were inspired by miners and blacksmiths who spent so much of their lives underground that their skin grew pale and their eyes adapted to the dark. To a passing traveler, they might not have looked human at all. And like so many myths, the line between truth and legend is impossible to see. But some legends never stay buried, because in the dense forests of North America, something massive is still said to walk, something that leaves footprints the size of dinner plates and vanishes without a sound. Bigfoot. In the shadow of the pines, something moves. Too fast to be a man, too big to be a bear. For over a century, people across North America have reported seeing the same thing. A towering, ape-like creature covered in dark hair, standing nearly 3 meters tall. Most call it Bigfoot, but here's the question. Is it just folklore or the last survivor of something ancient? The sightings follow a pattern. Hunters in remote forests, campers waking to the sound of heavy footsteps, a smell, rancid, musky, so strong it makes you gag, and then silence. Photographs are always blurry, footprints massive, human-shaped, but too deep for any man to leave. Skeptics point to hoaxes, costumes, fake tracks, but the sheer number of sightings, thousands of them spread across decades, makes the legend hard to kill. Some scientists suggest a relic species, Gigantopithecus, a giant ape that lived hundreds of thousands of years ago. It stood over 3 meters tall and vanished from the fossil record, at least officially. And then there's the sound. Recordings from deep in the woods. Long, howling calls, too powerful for any known animal. So maybe Bigfoot isn't gone. Maybe it's watching, waiting. And if you ever find yourself alone, deep in the woods, with the trees suddenly silent, pray that it's just your imagination.